it was more like, when people make the comments, is your hair natural?
Yes.
I'm just like...
Take notes.
Yeah.
You want a picture?
Want a picture so you can try and get it in the salon?
Yeah.
Mijn naam is Rosie en ik ben Rost. Dit is de Rosistische podcast.
Have a sip of water first. Welcome to another episode of the Rosistische podcast. At this point, maybe I should call it the Gingerist podcast because we have another one in English and it would make more sense because I don't think you understand the Rosistische podcast. Anyway, as probably most of you don't know, I'm in Melbourne. I'm on a holiday to take a break from the podcast, but yesterday I was on the tram and I was seeing this beautiful redheaded woman. I sat next to her, we had a conversation, and within those 10 minutes we had so much to talk about. So I just had to do another episode. So welcome April from Australia. Yes. It's your first podcast or you have...
Yes.
Okay, it's exciting. Well, thank you for welcoming me in your beautiful home here in Melbourne. So we're here in Australia. Australia, I did some research, is known for their highest UV scores. It's one of the countries that has the highest scores.
I'm pretty sure it is the highest.
Is it?
Yeah. Do you know the reasoning behind it?
Because the ozone layer.
Yeah, the open ozone. Yeah.
And was thinner, in the 70s.
It's progressively just gotten thinner though. I would say it's like there's essentially just a hole smack bang right over Australia.
Which gives a free pass to UV radiation to come through and to cause a lot of skin cancer in this country. They have a lot of programs here that raise awareness around it. But it's maybe the worst place to be as a redhead with our fair skin.
I would say so, yes.
How does that work out for you? You were born here?
Yes, I was born here. I was born on the south coast of New South Wales. I got very burnt as a child. When I was younger, almost every summer there'd be the first couple of days of really intense heat. I would get really badly burnt.
Yeah.
But I feel like I got a lot more burnt than I should have because there was a kind of a bit of a stigma behind sunscreen, which is crazy.
You had to be tanned because you had to be tanned?
Yes. Yep. But it was just a sunscreen thing in general. I think now a lot of people have gotten better and bringing more awareness and kids aren't like it anymore. But if you were seen putting on sunscreen, you were
uncool.
Kind of looked down upon, which is insane because of our skin cancer rates. And now looking back at it, I'm all of these kids are now at risk of getting skin cancer. It's not just me. So I definitely feel like I got burnt a lot more because I didn't want to put it on because you just get bullied even more because it was I'm wearing sunscreen. And like you mentioned, big tanning culture, huge.
Yeah, you all have to be surfers and tanned.
And obviously we don't really tan. Though I did try. Yeah. And I would go from one shade of white to another shade of white. There was that little difference, but it was still very obviously white. So I feel like I exposed myself to the sun unnecessarily to try and tan when I really didn't understand that it was just never going to really happen.
And you started appreciating your skin tone when you got older?
A little, not really. I think fake tanning has become a lot bigger, especially with the awareness around the UV and skin cancer. So a lot of people obviously went from natural tanning and tanning beds to fake tanning and spray tans. And some redheads can get away with fake tanning because of their undertones. However, I have a quite yellow undertone. So every time I've tried to use fake tans, it's turned out this really obnoxious orange, and it just does not look good whatsoever.
So there's good ones.
There are good ones, but I've tried so many to the point that I've just given up on it.
Yeah.
So,
but we don't need to try to be someone that we're not. Yeah. We should just accept being white, super white. But there is also redheads in people of color. It's just very, very rare.
Yeah. I think it's hard when, like you mentioned, tanning culture is so big. I've had open comments, friends, multiple friends, And obviously they're comments that I don't really mean to be mean, but as it kind of like builds up, it kind of starts to be like, it feels like you're just taking a dig at being white, and they're like, oh my God, I don't look myself without a tan, because they fake tan. Or they're like, oh, I look so ugly without a tan. Like I'm so pasty and white, like it's disgusting.
I look dead.
And I'm standing there and I'm like, this isn't just a one-off thing. Like it happens every time. They're like, oh my God, tanning night, I look disgusting until I tan. And I'm like, you've heard my story and why I can't tan. Like I get that that's how you feel, but maybe they don't say it around me.
Yeah, and
so
how do you look at me then?
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah.
And I've like mentioned that. I'm like, well, like, do you think I'm like, they kind of just steer away from it, but they never really answer it.
They're like, but you're a redhead, like.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, but you're just like white.
Yeah.
Like, thanks.
You're eliminated from the competition of being tanned.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And they also tell me sometimes I reflect the sun. They're like, oh my God, I've never seen anyone that white. Like it hurts my eyes. And I'm like,
yes, I've definitely gotten like transparent or paper. You're paper white, or you're like whiter than paper. Makeup brands. I hate that some of their names are like transparent and porcelain. Like they're really coming for us. Like sometimes you don't even have our shade, and it says porcelain, and it's like a tan color, and I'm like, really?
Yeah,
really.
I had someone that asked me, do you have pigmentation? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not albino. I read something online that it's called reverse racism.
A little.
Because you're too white.
Yes.
So
well,
ironic.
We could get into that if you'd like.
Yeah.
I feel like my story is probably a little different than probably some people in the UK. Or even
because you're half Scottish.
Yes, but also like just the way where I was located, there was a heavy Aboriginal community in my area, which is great. They're like doing a bunch of stuff, making sure the culture's staying alive. I'm like, this is great. Like we got to learn some of the language growing up. So pretty big, heavy Aboriginal community. But there were a couple of Aboriginal boys in my year. There was also a couple of Aboriginal girls kind of below me. And I would have to say that I was heavily bullied by them. And I couldn't really turn around and say anything to them because then it's the stereotypical racism. Whereas they'd be saying, oh, you white ass, pasty ass bitch. Like, you know nothing, you know, ranga and redhead, carrot top, like white, like all of these stuff. And I couldn't turn around and say the same thing back to them. So I definitely think in the sense that there's reverse racism, I think it's to a percentage and it's case by case. I don't think you can overall say reverse racism is a thing because some people say just like little, if it's like a little kind of thing, not so much.
You can't compare it to institutional racism that has been going on for decades and centuries.
Yeah, I used to say it was like hairism, as in like hair.
Gingerism.
Yeah, gingerism.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
definitely think it's case by case, but I've definitely had that experience where it was like it was based on my race. Yeah. That they were picking on me.
Yeah, I mean race, we're not a race, we're just a fucking hair color. Like it's just hair. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely big comments on like being overly white.
Yeah.
Like, because then you have the white population that are tan.
Yeah.
But then like white.
But do you think the Australian government is doing a good job in raising awareness around protecting your skin? And were you motivated by it to do that? Or
not so much when I was younger. It could also be around being younger and not really knowing as much. But I don't really remember. Like, we had a few commercials on TV, like I remember. Like, if an Australian listening, they would know the banana boat ad and, like, Cancer Council. But they've definitely become a lot more prominent, I feel like, in everyday media.
Yeah. What's banana? Is that a commercial?
It's a sunscreen brand. But they had like a little tune that like every Australian kid would know. It's like slip, slap, slop, slip and slide, have fun in the sun, but don't get fried. Yeah. So like I remember that, but we used to just sing it as a joke. Nobody would actually take it seriously, I guess.
I read about it. the 6 S's, or like sun, slop, slap.
Yeah.
I think. Let me check. I did screenshot it.
So it's slap on a top, slop on sunscreen. No, wait, slip on a top.
Yeah.
Slop, I don't like this. On sunscreen, slap on a hat, seek shade, and slide on sunnies. That's what it is.
Yeah, I looked up some stats, and 2 out of 3 Australians get skin cancer in their lifetime.
Yep.
What the hell?
Yeah, and it kind of scares me, to be honest. Like, I've got a lot of freckles, and I had to have a skin cancer check when I was younger, and I have not gone back for one since because it was kind of traumatic. I don't know how old I was. I don't know if I was like under 10 or like just over 10. Maybe I was like, I don't know. But I remember it was because of a couple of freckles I had, which were obviously, it's so hard to tell with us because some of it's like, that almost looks like every freckle. But so there was a couple that were very disshapen and were like fit the profile of skin cancer, and I had like quite a big one on my thigh, and it was kind of raised. Yeah. So I was concerned about it, and like mum was getting hers checked out. But I remember just thinking we were just going to get those like 3 spots checked out. Yeah. And then I get there, and the doctor is like essentially like strip.
Oh.
And even as like a 12, 13-year-old, and it was a guy, nobody prepared me for this. Otherwise I would have asked for a woman. Yeah. And I was like, just starting to wear bras, and like I'm at that age, and
you're not comfortable with that.
Yeah. So like I full on had to like strip, and he's like there for a solid like 10, 15 minutes, just like
with like
like lying on my back and then lying on my stomach. Yeah. And it was
with his eyes on your skin, like going
I have
everywhere.
Not gone back, and I'm just like, it was so traumatic.
Wow, I'm
at such a young age that I was just like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Well, every year you should get it checked in Belgium. Yeah. Probably more
in Belgium, really.
Yeah. But like if you have more than 25 moles, you have to get them checked every year. Well, but freckles is not the same as moles, though. Like this is a mole.
But I do have some raised ones, and it's not even raised ones like that. They would say to go get checked out. I actually have one on my hand, this one there, and it's like not even a circle at all. Probably should get that one checked out. But if you feel like there.
Oh, wow.
So I just get random raised ones. Yeah. So they're of concern because they're raised. Yeah. But at the same time, it's also kind of natural because it's just the build-up of like melanin, keratin, or whatever it is. Yeah. And it just kind of makes a little...
Yeah, and 95% of the skin cancer is caused by the UV.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And there is more men getting skin cancer.
Probably because they walk around with their top off.
Yeah.
Like it's not...
Wear shirts.
It's like so acceptable in Australian culture to just like go anywhere with like board shorts, no top, and thongs. So like it would not surprise me if the rate was higher in men.
They're more outside.
More outside, I guess so. I guess men do like a lot more of work outside.
Yeah.
Like construction and that. Like it's just... don't want to stereotype, but percentage-wise, it is higher.
And 2,000 Australians die from this disease every year. That's what I saw as well.
Yes. Well, I'm pretty sure both my parents have had to get skin cancers cut out, or at least I know my dad did. And it was under his arm. So like not somewhere that you're going to get a lot of UV rays. So like it's not. I think it's under his arm. If they listen to this and they're like, "What are you talking about?" But I definitely know. My dad did have to get something cut out. So,
message to all the listeners and Australian listeners, like every 2 hours, SPF 50, even if you tan really well, because tanning is damage as well. Like when your skin
it's
changes
essentially just
color.
a giant freckle.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
True.
It's just a giant freckle.
Yeah. I talked to a dermatologist and she was like, well, when your skin changes of shade, it's damage to your cells.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So I did actually a diploma in beauty therapy, and I became a lot more aware of what I should be doing to keep my skin safe. I only started wearing sunscreen like on my face religiously like 2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah, me too. So stupid.
I'm not as good with my body, but I do wear a lot of like long pants and tops. But
it's a hassle.
It is,
because when you're wearing something white, it's going to stain on your white clothes, which is annoying.
Black?
On white clothes,
Really?
like it gets like yellow stains.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. Haven't thought about that actually. I don't wear a lot of white.
Do you think it doesn't suit your skin tone, white?
I just never liked it because I felt that it was going to stain easier.
Yeah, true.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and I didn't want to like fall in love with a white top and then like you wear it for a couple of weeks and it's gross.
And it's grey.
Yeah.
And you have quite some freckles.
Yes.
They grew over the years, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have more. I've seen people when I've gone back to the UK, like middle-aged people with red hair and light skin, and they've got the amount of freckles I do now. So, and that was like only the last time I went back, which was like May this year and September last year, that I really kind of noticed it and like actually was like, that's
a red flag.
That's a concern. The freckles on my shoulder are actually combining.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I used to joke and I was like, I can't wait until all my freckles combined and then I'll have a tan.
Yeah.
But I don't have freckles everywhere.
Yeah.
So when they've like started to combine, I'm like, oh, that looks weird. That looks gross.
I think it looks beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It's like you're different.
Yeah.
It's cool to be different, I think. They're not pre-stages of skin cancer. It's just, they're just freckles. So as long as you just put that sunscreen on.
Yeah, as long as I keep an eye on it, yeah.
The freckles will keep growing, though.
Unfortunately.
No, fortunately.
They used to be a lot more prominent on my face. But I started using like retinol, which is like, so they've like faded a lot, which is crazy.
Yeah. You mentioned ranga earlier.
I did.
I don't think people, like non-Australian listeners, will know what that term means.
Yes.
On my first day, I heard it as well. Like a homeless person called me a ranga.
Yeah. So I despise the word ranga. It derives from the word orangutan. It is a derogatory term, essentially meaning we are another species. And in the way that it has deprived from that and the backstory behind it, it is essentially similar to the N-word. Because I believe, I haven't done full research on this, so I could be wrong, but I believe the N-word, it translates to monkey, I believe. So that was like insinuating that obviously people of colour were below humans. So ranga, being orangutan, is being like you're another species, you're below human. And a lot of people actually don't know that it's come from that. And I've like kind of had to explain it to people and they're like, oh damn, I didn't know that. I think they associate it with like red, ranga maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it is a very widely used term in Australia, and because unlike the N-word that has all that history behind it and that horrible stuff behind it, people can use it freely.
Yeah.
So it used to be called it all the time, and when I was younger I didn't understand why or like where it came from, and then kind of learned about it and I was like, this is really gross, this is disgusting that people are saying this.
The meaning. Yeah.
And I actually there was another girl in my school who was a redhead, though she dyed her hair and it was now strawberry blonde because you can never get it back to how it was. And she used to say it. I don't know if she was trying to claim it back, but she used to be like, oh, my ranga sister. And I'm here like, please don't say, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, don't say that. And it's sad because my mum told me a story when she first came to Australia, they used to call redheads blueies, which is weird. I know. So I did do some research and I was wondering why. And there was a couple of reasons and they weren't completely sure. Some say it's because like blue and red are like opposite sides, so it's like kind of a funny joke that it's like a bluey. Others think it's because a lot of redheads have blue eyes. And then there was this
I think it's more rare to have blue eyes and red hair than brown eyes and red hair.
Yeah, so 0.17% of the population have red hair and blue eyes.
Yeah, and you're one of them.
I know, so even more rare.
Wow. You're so special. Yeah. I read this online that the Melbourne Zoo had an ad about their orangutans, and they like included gingers in it.
Oh God, don't tell me that.
And like gingers could get free access to the zoo.
No.
In 2008, yeah.
No, I don't like that.
And they got cancelled for that.
Thank God. I would be cancelling them. No.
Yeah, it's fucked. That's crazy.
So yeah, I wish bluey was still a term, but yeah, right. And it's only been like the last like 5 years that I've really, like, if someone says ranga to me, I'm just like, and I shut it down straight away and I explain what it means. It's a derogatory term. If you're going to say it to me, no matter how close you are, I'm not going to really look at you the same way.
Yeah.
Also, dating apps. I don't know why, but they think it's great to start out the conversation with being like, hey, ranga, or hey, carrot head. And I'm like, how do you think bullying someone or calling someone a name's going to go?
Yeah, how do you think we will like move forward from this? This is not going to result in a date.
I'm just like, sorry, it's very commonly used in Australia, and it's so it originated here and it's kind of moved across the world a little bit, which is a little bit sad.
Well, the family I'm staying with, love them, appreciate them a lot, but like they know about my podcast and they were like, oh lol, yeah, we call gingers or redheads because ginger is also like some like it's a discriminatory word.
I didn't know that until I listened to your English episode, and I was like, I've always preferred ginger over redhead.
But it's also personal preference, and they were like, yeah, we call redheads rangas here. After I had that conversation with you on the tram, I was like, actually, like ranga is offensive. And they were like, no, it's not offensive. And I'm like, but you don't decide that. You don't have red hair.
I know people have tried to say that to me. They're like, it's not offensive. And I'm like, you're standing here with your bleached, dyed blonde hair, naturally brown.
Yeah.
Or someone with natural brown hair. And I'm like, you can't decide that because it's not about you.
You're not living that truth.
And there's no way, like the only time it's ever been used in like a nice way, kinda, was that girl being like, my ranga sister.
Yeah.
But every other time it's been used or said to me, it's been in a bad, negative connotation. So I'm like, how can you stand there and say that it's not a negative thing? So,
just for you to have fun.
Just for you to have fun.
Yeah. You're a redheaded woman.
Yes.
So that creates another reality already. How was it to grow up as a redheaded woman in Australia?
I mean, you're a woman, so you're already a minority. I think it's hard because I was definitely heavily bullied when I was younger. And looking back at stuff now, I'm like, I was even like slightly bullied by friends, and I don't think they were meaning it in a bad way, but like, if you keep making a statement or a comment multiple times. But then I've come out of high school and there's been girls turn around who used to hate on my hair or comment about my hair in a bad way and say, oh my God, I love your hair. I wish I had your hair. It's so pretty. It's so unique. Yeah. And I'm like, you didn't think that 5-7 years ago?
Yeah. Who's laughing now? And you're dyeing your hair red and you're putting henna on your face to get freckles. That's fun.
Oh, don't even get me started about the fake freckle thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so being a woman, I already like. But yeah, so I feel like it's changed over time because like as a kid, the only people that would comment in like a positive way on my hair would be like more older people.
Literally on the street.
Yeah. They'd be like, oh my God, your hair is so pretty.
Yeah. And when I was younger, I had your color.
Yeah. Or they're like, oh, appreciate it while you can. And I'm there as like a 12-year-old being like, no, I want to dye it.
Yeah. But you should listen to it because they're actually right.
Yeah. Well, my hairdressers, sweetest. I've been going to them for like my whole life. And there was a period of time I really wanted to dye my hair pink.
Oh.
Don't ask Queen why. It was the point of time where everybody was experimenting with fun colours and I felt left out. It was like, I want to be a fun colour. So I was like, I want to dye my hair pink. And my hairdressers when I brought it up to them slightly, they were like, if you ever came in here and wanted to dye your hair, we would turn you around and shove you out that door. We will not be dyeing your hair.
Yeah. Well,
and as a child, I was like, fine, I'll go to another salon.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy they did say that to me, because it was like sweet that they, because like if you dye it, you're never going to get back to the color, no matter what you do. So
what about boys?
where I grew up, I feel like the pond was quite small.
Yeah.
Like I said, was quite heavily bullied.
Yeah.
So I never really believed I was like pretty or beautiful, or I was the popular girl that every guy wanted. Could also do with my personality, you know. I feel like I'm quite straightforward, to the point, come across as kind of bitchy sometimes. I have a terrible resting bitch face.
Me too.
Oh.
And I'm even embarrassed because during my episodes, I'm sometimes looking at my face and I'm like, why are you look like you hate the person you're interviewing? You look like you're judging them.
I know. I'm like, I want to make friends. I'm nice. Like, but then I'm like,
yeah.
like that's, and I so
it makes you a bit unapproachable and intimidating, probably.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's probably a combination of a bunch of things, but. Not really I wasn't really around the dating scene. I think I had like a couple of boyfriends in high school. And moving down here, it's also like, it kind of grosses me out that we're a fetish. And I'm never going to really know if someone likes me because of me or if because I fit their fetish.
But what is the best thing about being a redhead to you? Because we've talked about a lot of like negative experiences.
Whenever people are like, meeting up or we're trying to find people, I'll be like, just look for the redhead in the crowd.
Yeah. So
I'm just like, look for the only ginger.
It's
like,
very handy.
It is handy.
Yeah.
Though it's a little sad. Like I was coming down the escalators at Southern Cross Station a couple of weeks ago, and I was like looking across all the platforms, and I couldn't see a single redhead, and I was like, that's kind of sad.
I'm so alone.
And then I just kept noticing it. After that, I was like, I'd be on a train and be like, yep, only one. Or I'd be like in a crowded place and be like, yep, the only one. And it like, so once you like notice it, you just like can't stop noticing it.
Yeah.
And I think coming from a small town, because there were quite a few of us from like on a percentage wise, there was a period of time for a couple of years where there was 4 redheads in my year. One of the girls like moved away, so then that was like 3. But so like 4 people in like a 80 to 100 person year.
It's
that's quite a lot.
1 to 2% of the Australians are ginger. So it's very rare. Yeah.
I actually have a fun story. We had Julia Gillard. I don't know if you know her at all. So she was the first ever woman prime minister. She had dyed red hair.
I heard
dyed
that.
Red hair.
I know.
I don't know if this came out after she was president.
Probably to increase her credibility.
Maybe. But I'm pretty sure it was known before she became president? Prime Minister. Oh my God.
I
don't even know my legal system.
That's fine. Me neither.
Prime Minister. That's embarrassing. Anyway, when she became Prime Minister, the local news, that is so embarrassing. Please keep that in though, that's hilarious. So yeah, when she became president, no. I just can't stop it now. When she became Prime Minister, I think it was a local paper, did this story about gingers. Because she had red hair, but it was dyed.
Yeah.
And I remember in primary school, they like got everybody in the whole school who had red hair together. And I think it was like max, maybe like 10, 15 people. But I remember there was the first ever time that I was just surrounded by redheads. And it was just such a surreal, like weird moment. I was like, whoa, hold up. This is weird. Like
I'm a majority now.
Yeah. It was like there's some sort of break in the matrix.
But have you been to the redhead days in
No, I didn't even know about that until I met you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a redhead expo.
Yeah. Oh, that was my project.
Oh, yeah?
But there is a redhead festival in the Netherlands, and like there's a lot of people going there, like from all around the world.
I want to go.
And it's just a ginger party. Like there's so many gingers, and there's a lot of people that have no red hair that come just for the entertainment. But it feels like a safe space, and it's funny to connect with the fellow redhead community. Yeah.
I feel like I would feel very, I don't know, I'd feel very whack.
What, whack?
Whack is
a bad word, no?
Really? Yeah.
Like
well, it would just
whack,
feel
it's like lame.
Not lame, but I would just feel what's the word? I don't know. It would just feel really weird. I feel like if I went to a festival that was all about redheads, I just feel very surreal. Maybe that's the right word. Surreal.
And appreciate it and celebrate it. Yeah. It's a unique experience. But how is the community here? Is there any
it's kind
connection or?
Not really. It's even weird, like, because there was 3 girls in my year at one point with red hair, and I don't know. Some of them, like, it was like a competition to whoever had the better red hair. Kind of. It was really random, and I don't know. Like, I remember we would discuss it, and obviously one of them, she had dyed her hair, and she no longer had as vibrant, and it was a lot more strawberry blonde. And I remember one time we had this discussion. She was like, "Oh yeah, my hair used to be like so much darker than yours. It's like so much deeper." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Like mine's pretty dark. Like it's a pretty dark color." And she's like, "No. Mine was so much darker." And she was saying it as if trying to outdo me. And I was like, "Girl, there's not many of us. You don't need to outdo me."
Yeah. We should hype each other up and uplift each other and be there for each other.
Yeah. So I was like, okay.
No.
But
no.
But yeah, so community not so much. I don't know. I don't think there's much community.
That's a shame.
I mean, kind of. I mean,
I've seen quite some gingers though here.
Quite a few,
in the city, yeah.
Well, like we discussed on the train, the culture between like Scotland and Australia and like mannerisms and that is quite similar, and there's a lot of people that go live over in Scotland, and a lot of people that come over here, like my mum, and just like cross over a bunch. Like it's really common. Like there's like somebody at my work who's married to someone who's Scottish, and then there's someone who is Scottish at my work, and then you'll just randomly find Australians over in like Scotland all the time.
Are there any other big words used?
No.
Or do you call it big words?
Big words, like offensive words?
Yeah, offensive words. Do you call it big?
Not really. I think ranga is the main one. I mean, like I got nicknames.
Yeah.
Like carrot top or carrot head. I think the worst, which didn't stick, thank God, was tampon.
Oh wow!
I think I got that a couple of times. I think that's like the worst kind of comment I've ever got. And thank God it was only like kind of a couple of times. Like carrot head stuck. But like the tampon one didn't stick, thank God. Or at least not to my face. I don't know what people said behind my back.
They called me a bottle of milk.
Bottle of milk?
with a red.
Oh, do you like the milk tops? The milk, do they have a red top?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
We mainly have the milk we had a green top, so.
Yeah. But did it boost your confidence in any way to be a redheaded woman?
No.
No?
No.
In my case, it did.
I mean, I feel like I'm slowly, and I'm starting to appreciate it now. And for the first time, I can say I love my hair.
Okay, love that.
And I don't think me, like even 3-4 years ago, would ever believe that I would be able to say that. All through high school, hated it, wanted to dye it, wish I didn't have that hair. But I'm finally like, oh my God, I love my hair. Like I'm unique.
I'm really happy.
Yeah, I'm happy with the red hair.
Yeah.
I think I'm slowly trying to learn to love my freckles, but that's been a little bit more of a long process. I think with beauty standards as well, you've probably seen the fake freckle trend go around.
Yeah.
Which is so annoying because it's like my whole life I was bullied for having freckles and now it's like a trend.
Yeah.
And I remember bringing this up to someone, I don't know if they were a close friend or an acquaintance, but I brought it up to them and I was like, oh my God, like everybody bullied for my freckles, now everybody wants my freckles. And they're like, oh no, they don't want your freckles though. Because they're talking about just the freckles on the nose and up here. And I'm like, I don't know.
Like the small ones, like the...
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know how common that is naturally. I do know some people do have the scattering across their nose, but I feel like that's a lot more uncommon compared to like freckles like ours, where it's everywhere, because if you're going to get freckles, you're going to get freckles everywhere.
It's like a double offense.
But it was like, yeah, they were just like, oh yeah, but it's not your freckles.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, so you want to have freckles, but you don't want the people who actually have the natural freckles.
Yeah.
You want like some of them combined, and obviously it's like splotchy on my face, and it's like...
They're like, no, we're going to decide what freckles are beautiful, even though we didn't grow up with them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like...
Let me just...
So it was just... that was... I don't know, when someone said that to me, I was just like, are you kidding me?
That's crazy. Now I look at it a different way. I wasn't too bothered with the trend because like it's never gonna look real.
No. Oh my God, I've seen some fails with the henna.
Yeah.
Like that's on your face for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Or even like the strawberry makeup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you shitting me?
What is that?
So it's like when they have blush, instead of having it just on the high points, they have it like across their face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I used to look like when we had PE or when I work out. Like I'm red. Or even just a little flushed or cold.
Yeah.
Like I get red here really easily, just like the natural flush. Once again, used to be bullied for it. Why do you look like a tomato? Why are you so pink and red? And now they're like, oh my God, strawberry makeup. And I'm like, here we go again.
Yeah. It's because we have like this fair skin that like red shows more. Yeah. Okay.
I know. I feel very strongly about that because it's just like, it's so annoying. And I see people that I know on Instagram and that, and then like they're doing like the trend.
Yeah.
And
they're like super tanned, and then they put this red on their
and the cute little makeup. And I'm like, oh God, okay.
Yeah. Just let them. Yeah. Let them be, girl.
Oh, I know. It's just all the. I don't know if it's like the last couple of years, but it was like all the like natural redhead things were just popping, like the fake freckles, strawberry makeup, and then like there was the trend of like the copper hair. I don't know the exact word. It was like that was a really big thing. I don't know if it was more in America.
Auburn.
Yeah, which was actually how we met on the train. Was you were like, oh, is your hair natural?
Yeah. And
when you first said that, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh, here we go again.
Another one. Yeah.
Because for some reason, and I've never gotten this my entire life. Sorry, do you want?
Yeah, I asked, are you a natural redhead? Because if you're not, then I wouldn't have continued the conversation. Because you
would have gotten up and left. Thank God I didn't decide in that moment to be like, no, and just like get rid of somebody.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that you've probably been my 10th person in the last like 5 months who have been like, oh my God, your hair looks so natural. It's so pretty. How did you get it that color? And I'm like,
but I could tell you were annoyed. I could, like, you gave me a side eye, and I was like, oh shit. But I knew, like, I could tell you're a natural redhead, but it was my opening line, you know, my pickup line to get you on the podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, so like, and I've never gotten this before in my life. So it took me so off guard when it first happened. And I was like, I turned around, I was like, because it's natural? And they're like, oh my God, it looks so pretty. And then it just kept happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you mentioned it, I was like, oh my God, like why has this become a thing? And I'm just more like, look at my skin. I'm white. I've got so many freckles. Like on the percentage, if I'm natural or not, pretty sure it's, if I was tan and had red hair, though there are some redheads who can tan. There was a girl who grew up close to us. She could tan and she was a redhead. So jealous of her. But like, it was more like, when people make the comments, is your hair
natural? Yes.
I'm just like,
take notes.
Yeah.
You want a picture?
Want a picture so you can try and get it in the salon?
Yeah. Or they have touched my hair as well. Yeah, in the past. Yeah.
I don't think I ever had that. I could have when I was younger. I'm not sure.
They're asking like, what number do you color your hair in? And it's mostly about my curls. They don't believe that they're natural. I
can't believe I gave you a side eye. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I can't believe I gave you a side eye. I feel like that just might have been my resting bitch face though.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when you were saying that you have a resting bitch. I was like,
I think and I see it in a positive and a negative light, because I'm like, especially in a city, and coming from like a small town and moving to a city, and like small town a little bit safer than a big city. So I'm like, if I have a resting bitch face and I look like I'm going to murder you, then nobody bothers me. But then nobody bothers me and I don't get to meet people.
Yeah. Do you have any message to your fellow gingers and redheads here in Australia to conclude this episode?
Wear sunscreen. Don't be ashamed of wearing sunscreen, because literally everybody should be wearing sunscreen, no matter where you are in the world at the moment now. Love yourself for who you are. Obviously, I'm still on that journey, and I think it will take time. So be kind to yourself. And if you were bullied, or if you are being bullied, one, know it gets better, and two, know that it's going to make you a better person in the long run. I feel like I've developed so much as a person because I was bullied. So as much as it sucks, I think try and look at it in a positive way.
Thicker skin.
Yeah.
That can handle the UV better.
Yeah. I just have fun with it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've spent so much time trying to like hide it, or like make it not part of my personality, or like try to distract from it, where it's just like, no, like you should just have fun with it, and like we have one of the best hairs to like style in that, so like have fun with that. But
your hair is an accessory already.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, April.
That's all right. Thank you for having me. This is so much fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for sharing your story, and I hope to see you around in Melbourne.
Of course.